Hey, welcome back to the Modern Star Wars Action Figures, the series, only on the Spector Creative channel. In this series, we have, and by we, I guess I mean I and my watchers, so we, hey, the collective we, we're all in this together, is to document the exact release order of all of the modern figures, starting with Power of the Force in 1995 and going all the way up through the vintage collection that's still shipping today in 2023 when I'm recording this video. Who knows how long it'll be out there, what year you might be watching this in. All right, so I really wanted to be able to, for posterity, preserve the exact release order. And I'm actually kind of out of order a little bit because I covered two different Endor troopers, but they actually shipped at different times. The variant without the beard came later. So I'll let you know when we get to him in order, as well as also the Star Tours figures, which kind of, since they weren't shipping to retail, the release order was a little bit wonky. So to be in correct order, to be in the exact release order, we had the Endor Trooper with beard, and then today's figure set, which we're going to go into. These lovely gentlemen here, all dressed in white. So the Star Tours figures and the Endor non-bearded guy, I'll just do a gentle reminder in a couple videos of exactly when they appeared in the release schedule. Okay, so picking up where we left off then, post Endor beard with Endor Trooper with beard, now we have 4 different troopers. Many of them might have beards. Who knows? They might be the bearded men of Space Station 11. Now, why get lots of stormtroopers? Well, for a collector, for the adults who are into this line, being able to amass an army is very similar to, amassing like a Civil War army or World War II army of metal soldiers. This is just, today's soldier. And since there are a lot of generic soldiers in the Star Wars universe, being able to get a lot of the same character is very important to adult collectors. Not so much parents and kids, and we'll go into that. But let's talk about this set specifically. So this was called the Stormtrooper Troop Builder set. Excuse me, I can't even read off the screen. It arrived in a white shipper box similar to the Fruit Loops Han Solo or the Frito-Lay Ghost of Obi-Wan's, but in this case we had 4, count them, 4 Stormtrooper Troop Builder set figures, each one in its own little poly-bagged baggie with a piece of tape that came in a white shipper altogether. 1 shipper, 4 figures. As kids back in the 80s, the 70s, we never had Stormtrooper builder sets, and some of us were lucky to own more than 1 Stormtrooper. I was not one of them. I had 1 of this non-neck-turning wonder. But yeah, there's a reason to have a lot. And even multi-packs that were sold in the vintage day never had more than 1 of the same trooper. I actually love how Hasbro has updated so many of the sets for modern times, but that's not important right now. That's a whole other YouTube video. All right, so even though you might get maybe a Hoth Trooper and an AT driver, you didn't really get 2 Stormtroopers in any of these multi-packs. They were always a variety because that's what parents look for. They want to get their kids variety, and kids kind of want that too. I mean, I've done actually a whole video about army building. I'll link it at the end of this. So talking about Star Wars army building, for collectors, not at retail, gold. In fact, there's even been other Stormtrooper troop builder sets, which we'll get to in time. And they get better and better, every time there's a new Stormtrooper mold done every couple of years. Now, when I say that these don't work at retail, there have been attempts, and there have been some really clever attempts, like these non-articulated Build Your Army clones that came out for both Episode 3 and then sort of that Clone Wars line that came out between Episode 2 and 3. I mean, very cool idea, but they didn't sell well. Because again, when a parent is buying a gift and looks at this, like, well, I don't want to get like little Johnny or little Mary, 3 of the same guys. It's also why they don't really do multi-packs of X-Wing pilots. Hasbro was afraid people were going to see it as just, a bunch of guys in orange suits, even though they are technically different characters. All right, now online, not constrained by retail, collector sets with army troopers do really well. And it's great because this set kicked it off. This was the very first, and it gave birth to others. Soon after, we had a Tatooine version, I guess, or a Sand Trooper based on the recently released Power of the Jedi mold, and then we also got a Rebel Fleet Trooper, or I guess they just called a Rebel Trooper builder set. The Fleet Troopers, the Alderaan Troopers, whatever you want to call them, the guys with those, long helmets. So it wasn't just these 3 packs, but for years, yes, this pack here was what opened the gate to doing packs of multiples of the same character and truly making this a very adult collector release. It was a repack of a previous retail version, the tail end Power of the Force Comtech Stormtrooper, and I actually really like that the Troop Builder version, you don't get the rack and you don't get the battle damage that shows up with cold water. And that's cool because it preserves the equity of the original release. But if you want to just build up on plain white Stormtroopers, I'm glad they waited for that tool, that mold, and didn't use the original Power of the Force one because, all right, I'll admit it, I have like 10 of this guy because I was buying them like candy back in the day. But yes, if you were going to start off with a troop builder, I'm glad they waited for the second Stormtrooper sculpt in the line, which was the Power of the Force 2 Comtech version. And it's because of this set that we've been able to get so many other troop builders today. And you'll notice that while sometimes they try them at retail, where these sets succeed are places like fan channels, like Entertainment Earth, or again, like HasLab and Hasbro Pulse, etc. Or the Star Wars Insider Fan Club, which is where that first Stormtrooper one came from. Not at retail, but perfect way to get it to collectors so they could build out their armies.